What's going on, guys? We're here for another interview, a little bit more official this time. I feel like you're on the Joe Rogan experience right now. We last week we did one of these and it went over really well. So now we're like, it's been a big goal this year. We want to do more of these. We want to do, interview different businesses and collaborate, but then also real people. So kind of named it Recalibrate Real Talk. Just wanted to actually have an open conversation with anybody and everybody that is either struggling or wanting to start their fitness game, and kind of what that looks like. We have a couple different guests lined up in the next several weeks that are people from all walks of life, which I feel like is important to cover. So this is Heather. She's 49 years old. So this is before and after here. This is kind of cool, like this picture. I know I mentioned to you before this. This is the gym here, which like
How
you
we
and
met.
you and I go like way back,
Yeah.
like over a decade.
We were the first two in the 4 o'clock gym.
The 4 a.m. club.
Yeah, just us two.
I
There was
know.
only two in here.
I know. So it's kind of funny seeing because the gym's changed a little bit too, but I don't know. It's just kind of neat for me to see the gym and then obviously see like years down the road, almost a decade later, you saw this, you took this on, and I also just kind of want to thank you because I just mentioned before the interview, you're kind of an OG
The
at
OG.
first, like one of my first super successful clients. So super grateful for you, and I'm happy you are here.
I'm happy I found it.
I know. I'm happy. I know this is out of your comfort zone, but
Very much so.
super happy you're on right now. So this picture really quickly, Heather is the caption on it's kind of hard to see. It says 25,000 pounds lost, and you put a caption at the top. Seriously, so proud I contributed to this number. So really cool. Like over the course of a couple years, that's kind of where we're at now. We hit certain milestones. I remember when we hit 1,000 pounds with who we had, and then we hit 5,000, and then 10,000, and now we're at 25K. And you're definitely
And I
part
think
of that.
that number is actually bigger than you think. I know a girlfriend who joined and didn't even put her number in.
Yeah. Well,
So she's like, I was terrible about it, but I lost weight. I lost at least 20 pounds.
Yeah,
So-
I actually think I ran into her,
Yeah,
who
Sam.
you're talking about. Yes, yeah. We did it at a health and wellness expo, so really cool. All right, we just have a few questions here. First one, what made you decide to start this?
Biggest reason, I was sick and tired of feeling sick and tired.
Yeah,
It wasn't, I did want to lose weight. I did want to look better. But honestly, to me, I wasn't even that overweight.
yeah,
So it was just more of I had absolutely no energy and I was super uncomfortable in my own skin. I didn't even want to leave the house. Clothes felt uncomfortable. Everything just felt uncomfortable. And I just wasn't happy doing anything, even the stuff that made me happy, like vacations and whatever. So my husband and I were starting to go on yearly vacations to Mexico. And I just remember being there one time and just not feeling good. And I didn't want that to be a pattern anymore. So I booked another trip, and I'm like, by this next trip, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there.
yeah,
So I started in January by myself, no Recalibrate, and killed myself. Just weighed absolutely everything that I put in my mouth, counted calories, worked out, which I always worked out. That wasn't something that
yeah.
I
You
was.
have. You've
Yeah.
always been active.
Yeah, I just couldn't, lose the weight. So, and then actually even abstained from alcohol for around 5 months and only lost 10 pounds, which it's nothing to sneeze at, but I just felt like I was killing myself to lose those 10 pounds.
Yeah,
And then I saw your program and I'm like, I plateaued. I was now 6 months in, only 10 pounds down. And I saw your program. I'm like, what do I have to lose? I was always losing and regaining those 10 pounds. And I could never get past that 10-pound threshold. So I'm like, well, maybe this will help. I've tried everything else. Hopefully this is the one thing that will help. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that you did because your
Me too.
transformation is huge. You mentioned something like vacations and stuff like that. It's like there truly is nothing more uncomfortable than you look forward to you pay for a nice vacation, you look forward to it, and then it's like shit.
Yeah, I don't feel good.
Gotta take
Yeah.
off my clothes by the pool or
Yeah.
by the beach, and I know
Yeah.
women struggle with it. I know just as many men do too as well, and it's one of those things. It's I like that you booked another trip to
Yeah.
okay, Not this time.
Yeah.
Not this time.
But
so
next time for sure.
it
I'm going to
makes the
kill
trip,
it.
and you enjoy the trip and experience so much
So
better
much more.
when you feel good. When you feel good.
100%.
What has surprised you the most about this in a nutshell?
I'm sure this is probably everybody's answer because I've talked to several people who've done the program, how
Yeah.
easy it is.
Yeah.
It's just the mind shift that happens. I was always a person who, like I said, counted calories, meal prepped. And I would bring everything to work with me. I'd have my breakfast ready, my lunch ready, my snacks ready. And then inevitably somebody would bring in donuts. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat the donut. I'm gonna eat the donut. Well, then your mind spirals into, well, I already ate a donut. So the days, what the hell, I'm gonna eat out for lunch. And then it doesn't matter what I do for dinner at this point. I'll just start again tomorrow. I'll take all those meals I, didn't have today
Yeah.
and eat them the next day. And when I started this program, something just shifted where it was like, no, today's the day where I'm fasting.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't eat the donut. I did later. I saved it. I grabbed it, put it in a Tupperware, and when it was my time to eat, I ate it. And my brain didn't spiral for the whole day. I didn't go off plan. It just completely the mind shift. That was what surprised me the most. And the fact that after I lost the weight, I was able to maintain it. I wasn't doing the whole up and down, up and down, up and down like I've always done my whole life. So
You mentioned like you had the donut. A past client, she uses slogan a lot. Delay, don't deny.
yeah,
Delay, don't deny.
exactly.
And I think that's totally true. And if you can be strategic and intentional about, the quantity and quality about what you're consuming, you can kind of figure out that you can bend the rules a little bit with a lot of this. Third question. See, we're plugging along here. So how has your and you've touched on a lot of this too already.
Yeah.
How has some of your daily life changed since starting this?
That's been the biggest thing. Like I said, I stressed about meal prepping, planning, recipes. Every Sunday it was like, go to the grocery store, make the meals, have it all ready. I don't have to do any of that anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously you still want to eat well, but it's not, I have to have all this packed for lunch every single day. No, I just take those days where I'm in the office and I fast those days. Super easy. I'm no longer weighing my food all the time. That would drive my husband crazy.
Yeah.
He'd be like, his food's cold by the time we could sit down and eat. He's like, are you done weighing your food, tracking all your food?
And you're not going to do that in Mexico.
No.
So it's like, let me whip out my food scale.
10, 15 minutes after the food's done, he's going, can we eat now? That was just a big thing.
Yeah.
The inflammation.
Yeah.
The bloating. Just like I said, uncomfortable in my own body. That's gone. That's a daily thing that I just feel so much better. I can get out of bed. I'm not hurting all the time.
I want to touch on that really quickly. I think this system does help a lot with, just because women more so than men have to deal with, because of many reasons that we won't go into, but have to deal with more water retention, fluid buildup, making, just things uncomfortable with more bloat and all that. This really does help with that. And I get that feedback quite a bit from people, which is awesome, because it's kind of, if we're just all walking around with 5 to 6 pounds of unwanted fluid retention, once that's gone, you feel so much better.
100%.
You can tell immediately in your face and the mirror. It just feels better.
Yeah.
So.
And then I guess the last one is just anxiety around food in all situations. Whether you're just going to be somewhere where you're not going to have it for a while and you're going to go, oh my God, what if I get really hungry? Well, I don't have that anymore, because I know it's okay to not eat for so many hours. If I get hungry, it's going to be okay. I'm not going to die.
Yeah.
And then the anxiety around, oh, well, somebody invited me out to this dinner or that dinner. Is it going to sabotage my diet? I used to worry about that all the time when I was always counting calories. That's gone. All the stress and anxiety over that is completely gone.
There's a big, we don't have to get into it so much right now, but there's so many people just are so caught up in that, because you're constantly training and working out, and you're very active, and you've been like that your whole life, and you've probably been conditioned your whole life up until now to like, hey, I need to like center my meals around workouts
That was
and
going to
this
be my
and
next
that.
point.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, what we're always told that like, oh, if you're not like consuming something every 3 hours or this or that, like you're gonna slow your metabolism down. You're gonna not build muscle. You're gonna shrivel up into nothing. I mean, your pictures, you know, I'm gonna go back to that. Like, you look much more athletic, leaner. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
And the before picture, I was actually working out.
Yeah, and
You would never know it.
harder and like
Yes, a lot harder.
giving up more. So it's, I don't know. That's a whole other like, you know, conversation that we can dive into down the road. But yeah, I did want to mention that. What is one thing that you've learned that you wish you knew sooner? And that's, we probably just covered
You
it.
actually just covered one of them for me, which was, oh, you have to eat 3 meals a day. You got to be drinking a protein shake right after you lift. You have to be having the snacks. You got to be keeping your metabolism going. So every 2 to 3 hours, you have to be putting something in your body. And that's not true. I wish I
Yeah.
would have known that sooner.
Yeah, I think that approach can work for some people, and I think some people
Absolutely.
like and appreciate that. And like maybe for example, someone who has a bad relationship with food in the sense that like, you know, we've all probably have done this before. We're like, okay, I abstained from having for so long, and then it's like
I'm gonna eat
the
everything.
floodgates open, and then you're like, man, what did I just do there? Like I just kind of like washed that away. So I think to a degree, you still have to have some mental restraint
Yes.
for when you are ready to consume something. So I think for some of those people that do like to eat, you know, 3 to 6 meals a day, maybe it does prevent them from having those episodes and
The
sessions.
binging,
So,
yeah.
but the point is that we get into this box in nutrition and diet approaches where we're always like pointing fingers at I'm right and you're wrong, and your approach is like wrong and mine's correct. So it's, I think many things can work for many different people.
Yes, you just
But
have to find what works for you.
I feel like 95% of the population needs and could appreciate a simpler approach, though, because we don't have the time to, like, many of us to prep. And
I don't.
I also think, too, someone that struggles with kind of food, like kind of controlling their emotions, mood, to me, it makes sense to get that person to worry less about their meals and when
Exactly.
they get to eat, to kind of just set them free from that. Because then when they do get to have something, like they can actually enjoy it and savor it and enjoy that experience.
You're in my head.
Yeah.
You're in my head.
Okay, last question. We're almost already done. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about starting this? Doesn't even necessarily have to be Recalibrate. You know, it of course can be, but someone who's on the fence about just starting anything in general.
Don't hesitate.
Yeah.
Because quite honestly, like we were talking about before we started this interview, I was kind of an OG. When I came across your program, I think I joined the day or I found it or the day after. We talked a couple
you were
times.
quick.
It was quick. But I look back and I'm like, thank goodness, because if I would have been like, oh, I'll just watch and post for another couple weeks, or maybe even a year or 2 years, do I really want to do this? And just even if I was only 1% on the fence and then 2 years later joined and then know what I know now and know I could have been
Yeah.
where I am now, 2 years prior, I just would have been so upset with myself. So even if you're 1% on the fence, just do it.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to look back and go, oh, I could have been happier or healthier or felt better 2 years prior. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's already January 31st. Like, how in the heck has a month already gone by?
I know.
And it will continue to do that at a rapid rate if procrastination is not our friend. That's for sure. So first off, thank you so much for being on here. I want to encourage you guys, honestly, reach out to me if you have questions, absolutely. But reach out to Heather too as well.
I'd love to talk about this program.
I mean, so if you want just an unbiased opinion,
Sure.
get it from her. She'll be happy to answer that. She also has a discount code up here that she'll obviously you can see it, but she'll gladly share that with you. That saves 10% on our program. Well worth it. Again, guys, thank you so much for checking this out. These are just a handful of other clients on here. Heather's in the left corner. None of these guys counting calories or macros, gave up their social life, killed themselves in the gym with grueling workouts. They followed a simple, repeatable system that you can follow for a lifestyle. And you're clear evidence of
Testament
that.
to that, yep.
Yes. All right. We'll see you guys next time.